Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are doing absolutely well. So guys, in today's video we are going to see should component update lifecycle method. So in the previous videos we have already covered the first phase of the React lifecycle, that was mounting phase, and now we are undergoing through the second phase, which is the updating phase. Okay, and in the updating phase we have already seen first lifecycle method, which was component did update, and this is the second one, which is should component update. So in this video basically we are going to see first of all what is should component update lifecycle method. Then we are going to see a practical example that what is its use case and when we use it, and what is its importance, and what all are the precautions that we need to take care of while using it. Finally, as always, we are going to see an interview question based on this. So I hope you will get a lot of information from this video about this lifecycle component. Before starting the video, just in case if you want to access the code which I am doing in this video, you just have to go to my GitHub repository, React tutorial, and then you can go to the commit section and you will find video number and video number and name of that video. Also, you have to click on this button, browse the repository at this point in the history, then you can access the code of a particular file. So now let's start. First of all, let's look at the first point that we have. What is should component update lifecycle method? The should component update method allows us to exit the complex React update lifecycle to avoid calling it again and again on every re-render. It only updates the component if the props passed to it changes. So you know that whenever there is an update in the states or props, what happens is re-rendering occurs. Now if we want that the re-rendering should stop at any particular point or based on a particular condition, then we can make use of this should component update. Okay, by using that by using this lifecycle method and putting a conditional statement in this, we can like stop re-rendering to occur every time, and instead we can make it only re-render based on a particular condition. The should component update method is majorly used for optimizing the performance and to increase the responsiveness of the website, but do not rely on it to prevent rendering as it may lead to bugs. So it is one important point to note that why do we majorly use should component update method? Because we need to optimize the performance of our React application. How we can optimize it? Because you see, whenever we do not use we do not restrict the re-rendering, it will always occur. Okay, every time there is a small change in state or prop, it will always re-render. So in order to optimize our code, and we do not want that for every time it should run the re-rendering, we want that only in a specific scenario or only on specific conditions that re-rendering should occur. In that case we can use should component update, but we should never use it just to prevent re-rendering as it may lead to bugs, because re-rendering is also important to happen at many points in the code. So while using this should component update method, we should be very clear that what is our motive and why are we using it. So now let's go to our code editor and let's look at the code. So I'm going to write the code basically from scratch. So I'm going to create a class-based component first, because we have already seen that these lifecycle methods are being used in class-based components, and for function components we already have React hooks that we are going to see in the upcoming videos. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a h1 and I'm going to write simple statement like should component update method, and I'm just going to save it so that we can see whether everything is fine in our browser. So Control S, and now let's go back to our browser and we will check whether this line is showing. So you can see this line is displaying. Now let's start. First of all, let's create a constructor. Okay, so I'll create a constructor, and inside that, as always, we will create a super method, and inside that I'm going to create a state. Okay, so and inside that I'm going to write a count. Basically we are creating a counter program so that we can understand this example easily. So first of all, what I have done is I have created a state in a class-based component, and you know, in class-based component, if you have to create a state, we have to make use of constructor method. Once this state is created, now what we are going to do is we are going to display it on the screen. Now in order to display it on the screen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write this simple text count and beside this I'm going to display my count value. How am I going to display it? This dot state dot count. So in this way it will display our count value. So right now if we will go to our browser window, you can see in this way it will display. Now we want that there should be a button, and whenever we click on this button, the count value should change or increment by 1. So first of all, let's create a button, and button, let's say it as update count. Update count, let's save it, and we also have a button on the screen. Now we want that as soon as we click on this button, the count value should increase. So I'm going to use a on click event handler, and inside this I'm going to set the state value. So we are going to do it this way. So this dot, so we are going to do this way, that I'm going to write count and this dot state dot count plus 1. What this will do is basically it will take the previous value of count and it will increment by 1. Also we have, since we are setting the state value, we also have to include this entire thing inside a set state, like this dot set state. Then only we can set the state of this count. Now let's save it and let's see whether it is working fine. So there is an extra semicolon that we can remove. And now let's go to our browser window. When I'm clicking on this, you can see the update count is increasing. Now let's come to our point, which is our shouldComponentUpdate Lifecycle method. Now let us see what is its use first of all. So I'm going to write a shouldComponentUpdate Lifecycle method, and inside them for now I'm going to just write a console statement so that we will get to know that it is at least running. And later on, one by one, we'll add some more code to this lifecycle method. So I'm going to open the console also side by side so that we can know what is the console message that we are getting. Okay. So as soon as I refresh it, there is nothing that is getting printed. So let me write some more console statements so that you will get to know what's happening. So one in the constructor and one more in the render. Now I'll remove it and I refresh it. So you can see, first of all, constructor being printed and then render being printed, which means that our constructor lifecycle method is running at the first point and then the render. So till now our shouldComponentUpdate has not been executed because you can see that there is no console statement of shouldComponentUpdate. Now we know that shouldComponentUpdate comes under updating lifecycle. Okay, so updating phase of the lifecycle. So it will only be executed once we have some update in our state or props. So as soon as I click on this button and there is an update, so that you can see that we have shouldComponentUpdate lifecycle method printed over here. But also after that we are getting one error or warning, you can say. So I'll tell you what this is about. So before that, what I'll do is, but you might have noticed that our counter value is not getting increased. You can see every time I'm counting it, there is a console message that is coming in the console, but counter value is not incrementing. So let us do one more thing. Along with this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write over here this dot count dot state, this dot state dot count basically, so that we will get to know that whether our count value is increasing also or not. So I'll clear it, refresh it, and update count. You can see it is not increasing here. Our initial value is 0. Now whenever I click it, you can see the count value is increasing always, but in the UI it is not getting updated, right? You can see every time the count value is increasing 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So why this is happening? Because even if you read this error message, it is saying that app.shouldComponentUpdate return undefined instead of a boolean value. Make sure to return the true or false, which means that our this lifecycle method shouldComponentUpdate always returns either a true or false, and by default it is always returning a false. Even if we do not add anything, it is returning a false. So right now what it is doing is it is returning a false, and because of that on our screen there is no update of in the account value is happening. So just what I'll do is I'll return a true, so that now when you will see that the count value is getting updated on the UI. Okay, so I'll refresh it first and update count. We can see our value getting incremented by 1, and also in the console you can see the values. So in this way it is working, right? So we have to pass a true or false value. Now let us see the most important case, that why it is majorly used. So we'll write a if condition that only based on that condition it should run, and for all the rest of the conditions it should not work. So what I'll do is I'll write a condition, simple condition, that if count is less than 5 then only return true. Okay, and what I'll do is else I'm going to return false. So in rest of all the conditions I am going to return false. Okay, so once this is done, now let's check the front end. So it is saying count is not defined. So basically we have to write the count value in this way, this dot state dot count. And now when we will check, what will happen basically is till 5 it should increment, and after that it will not be incremented. So I'll refresh my browser window first of all. Whenever I click on update count, it is incrementing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you can see no more update in the count value, but you can see the values getting updated in the console, right? So in this way we can apply conditions, and we have restricted re-rendering. Okay, basically the values, state value is updating, but re-rendering is not occurring. Because of that updation on the UI is not happening. So you can see the importance of this method, lifecycle method, that is should component update lifecycle method. So the major use case is this only, that we can restrict re-rendering based on a specific conditions. Now when we write like large code, or when we work on large projects, there might be some cases that you may occur that you don't want re-rendering to occur always. You only want it to be occurring on a specific condition. Like we have a condition in this case, wherever our count value is less than 5, only till then we want the re-rendering to occur. So that is why we have given a return true. Else in rest of all the cases we want that re-rendering should not occur. So that is why we have given a return false. So because of this only, this lifecycle method is so much important. So I hope now you have got the understanding of this lifecycle method, that is should component update. Now coming on to our last interview question, when exactly does should a component lifecycle method runs? So at which point in our program execution does this exactly run? The should component update lifecycle method in React runs immediately before the rendering process. Whenever component is about to re-render, it's crucial method that helps you optimize your React application performance by controlling whether a component should update and re-render or not. So basically it should it always runs before the re-rendering occurs. So what if we we have already seen that whenever we were consoling, so first of all constructor was running, then render, and then our should component update. Whenever re-rendering was occurring, before that re-rendering, this lifecycle method is running. So I hope now you have got the understanding of this interview question. Also, just in case if you have any doubt related to this, let me know in the comment section. And if you found the video helpful, please give it a like and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. Thanks for watching the video, and I will see you in next video.